Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another session of our Zak. Of course, next to me, Zak van Aswegen, Zak himself, and of course, me, myself, Albert de Wet. I'm one of the technical advisors here at Alzu Feeds. Now, Zak, today we're going to talk about cattle dips, the pros and cons of the cattle dips that we have available at our depots, of course. Now, Zak, a frequently asked question that we have is, of course, why do we dip, Zak? Why do we use dips for our cattle?
Well, Albert, thanks, and hello to everybody out there. Lovely scenery, at least we have here at the back of us, and nice change. Now, guys, very important. Ticks can have a very significant impact on your herd. Whether it's sheep, goats, cattle, it doesn't matter. Now, ticks, of course, can carry diseases. Hartwater, anaplasmosis, everything like that. And of course, they can stress out your animals, production drops, things like that. Now, that's where you don't want to be as farmer. You want your animals to produce as quickly and as effectively as possible. And by regularly dipping, especially now in the summer months, we've been through a few weeks of rain. Some people think, if I put on my pour-on dip now this week, then I'm fine for the rest of the month. No, guys, remember, our dips can wash off. So when we dip now in the this rainy season, we can even do it as regularly as every 2 weeks. But of course, Albert, there's the regular question that we get. Which dip is the best?
Yes, Zak, that's quite regular. A frequently asked question that we find, guys. And of course, there is no silver bullet, guys. There's no magical dip that you can apply that's going to prevent you from any diseases that's going to be long lasting. Of course, we've got different techniques and different dips that we can use in a different way. But like Zak said, guys, the best is to make sure that you regularly apply depending on the dip that you use. Now, Zak, of course, we've got different methods. I'll start off with our spray technique that we use. Now, guys, there's quite a range of equipment that we can use with this. Of course, we've got our Spring-Con sprayers, our knapsack sprayers that we have available from 3 liters, 5, 8 to 16 liters at the depot, which you can use to cover area. Now, that's what we want, guys. We want to cover that area with the products that we use, with the concentrates that we can mix with water, or the ready mix products that we can just apply directly. Now, guys, like I said, we want to cover all the areas. So when you are working your cattle, when you are vaccinating them, checking them up, weighing them, when they are in the crush and they're standing there and you can safely administer it, do it then. Do it like early in the morning, apply that coverage area and apply the whole body, under the flanks, under the tail, everywhere where you can, apply it. And like we said earlier, we want to apply that, of course, every 2 weeks, depending on the products. Now, Zak, we've got a few other options that you can maybe tell us more about.
Now, just to add on what you said there with our spray dips, we usually, you work on a mixture, at least of 5 liters. If you go below 5 liters, you know you've used too little spray dip on your animals and you have to re-dip it. Now, again, what plays a big role in what kind of dip you use is your facilities. As Albert mentioned, spray a 16 liter backpack sprayer that you can spray your animals. But if you've got a head of 200 cattle to dip, that is not going to be very effective. You're going to be busy the whole day. So there's, of course, the alternative of our pour-on dips, which is a systemic product, yes, that you pour on the back of the animal. Of course, very important, our pour-ons do not get diluted. You use them straight out of the bottle. And very, very important, guys, you need to apply that dip according to body mass. So if you give too little dip, you're not going to have an effect on that dip on your parasite. And if you use too much, you've got a very good chance of burning your animals. So be very, very aware of that, guys. But yeah, if you need to do more animals, your pour-ons, of course, very easier to handle larger quantities of animals. Where you spray dip, as Albert mentioned, it's for your smaller herds, unless you use one of those firefighters that you can do about 1,000 liter mixture in and spray your animals as they go through the spray race. So that is definitely another option of doing it.
Zak, I see that we have a question there, more horse related. Now, the question asked is, what dip can I use to apply to my horse that is safe, that we get, of course, at any of our Alzu depots?
Now, that is actually a very tricky one. As Karina mentioned, there is very few products. Now, the main reason for it is horses like us, they sweat through their skin. So basically, when we apply a dip, they can absorb it through their skin, and that can cause sickness. So basically, the only options that's registered and safe for your animals is there's two dips that you mix, that we use in a backpack sprayer, and that's either Super Dip, which is a nice product. It's an organophosphate, so it's very strong, but you can use it on your horses. It's safe and registered, and of course on your dogs as well. That's how safe it is. Please just keep it away from your cats. And then there's a little bit more expensive product that a lot of the horse people know. We call it Baiticol. Now, that's a cypermethrin, very nice, of course, when it comes to fly control. It definitely plays a role there. But again, if you get good rain, those dips, you're going to have to repeat it. Otherwise, what we also use for spot treatment is like our tick greases that you can apply underneath the tail, in the groin areas, and underneath the flanks, just to make sure. And of course, guys, we need to know when we work with our spray dips, we don't necessarily get proper penetration into the ear. And there we talk about in Afrikaans of die breinoor borsluis, brown ear tick. So make sure when you do apply that spray that you get into the ears. Again, with your Poron dip, you get the option of the thing it uses the oils of the skin to transport itself, and of course make sure your animal is safe.
So definitely some pros and cons with different dips that we can use and get at our Alzu depots. Now guys, of course, like Zak said, with our spray dips we can cover that area, but maybe we can't cover that inside of the ear, or an area that will have some detrimental effects. And of course, now in the rainy season, when we have heavy rain and it's going to wash off from our cattle, we just need to reapply it. So nothing wrong with that product, we just need to know how to use it, and that's why we're speaking about it here on Ask Zak tonight, guys. So of course, there with the Poron, like Zak said, just to summarize it up there, Zak, of course, we take it from the head to the tail. It's a systemic action, so it gets absorbed, it's transported, so it lasts a bit longer. I think with our Poron, Zak, we can work on about 3 to 4 weeks, and with our sprays we can go on every 2 weeks we want to administer it, of course.
Definitely.
Depending on your area as well, guys. If you are north, if you're in Limpopo or in the Nelspruit area, we have a very high humidity, very high temperature ranges. Of course, it's a parasite's dream. So we don't want to get applying these products now in midsummer when the parasites have already been there. We want to apply these products starting when our temperatures are rising. And of course, guys, the more time you spend with your animals, the more you assess and evaluate your animals and see how many ticks and the types of ticks that are on them, you can get more or less an idea of the parasite load that is on your farm. Now, guys, of course, when you are buying in animals, when you're getting in animals from somewhere else, we need to quarantine those animals. And of course, we need to deworm them first of all. That's of course a different Tuesday, a different Zak right there. But we want to make sure that they are not bringing in other ticks or other parasites. So this is where we can use these dips. We want to quarantine them for at least a month, Zak, and then we know that these animals aren't bringing in anything from outside that can of course have detrimental effects on our cattle. Now, like Zak said earlier, we have different diseases that we get with our parasites, and guys, that can have a massive negative impact on your reproduction and on your production. So it could be the difference between 500 grams in a feedlot. If you're fattening up your animals will struggle to gain weight. They will always have to struggle with that if they have to compete. Remember, any energy, any protein, any nutrients that an animal will get in, they will always use that energy to first look after themselves before they use it in production. So the very important part of this is that we know that our animals are performing optimally, that we know they're in a nice, healthy environment. And of course, reproduction-wise, if we have beautiful calves or heifers that have just fallen pregnant, or the bull is busy with them now, and maybe we get an abscess on the testes or even on the penis itself, there can be detrimental effects there. You're not going to have a good conception, you're not going to have a good calving season, and we only see that later on, guys. So definitely a big role that it plays in our reproduction, of course. And even if that calf or that heifer or that cow is pregnant and anything happens in there and she'll abort, that's definitely something that we could have prevented beforehand.
Now, just to also touch on a few common mistakes that we see. a lot of people tend to think when you change your product, let's say you use Tactic now for the spray this time. Tactic is an Amitraz, and now they go over to Tritix. Now the people think I'm changing active ingredients. I'm not going to create basic resistance in my parasites. Now, guys, very important. You need to learn to read your active ingredients. It's just usually very clearly written on your product, so check for that. Amitraz is very nice when it comes to our knockdown. It paralyzes the tick's jawbone. They fall off, they die, but we don't get very long-acting coverage out of it. Breaks down within 24 hours or maybe a little bit more. That's why you usually see when you put on Tactic, it's going to definitely clear off the ticks, but then you're going to see them come back quickly again. So usually then you look for something with a combination. Our Porons are very good with a combination, so very important to look at your Deltametrine or your Cypermethrin. You get that in the Delete All, or maybe something like our Deadline or our Cooper's Redline. That's a Flumetrine, so it lasts a little bit longer, and you get the added benefit of a little bit of fly protection. So just watch for that, guys. Read those active ingredients, because you don't want to use the same thing over and over.
Yes, guys, of course, we do want to encourage that you do use these products, of course. So please make sure that you always read your products when you are there. And guys, if you need additional information, ask the people, ask the managers at the depot, ask your technical advisor. We're always there to help you guys out. We have a bit of a question right there, just for what happens if we have some ticks between the hooves with our sheep and goats. Now, first of all, guys, with our hooves, with our sheep and goats, with our hooves, if you're on a sandy area where the natural elements are not going to chafe off or going to trim your hooves, it's very, very important to make sure that our sheep and goats, and even with our cattle, but it's a bit more prone in our sheep and goats, that they not have long extended nails that are curling under. This will later on have a massive effect on their foot, and it will have a lot of problems right there. Remember, if that ewe cannot keep the weight of the ram mating her, you're not going to have a successful conception, and you're not going to have a good lambing season 155 days later. But products that we can use there, of course, is, let's say we assess our animals, we can see it's inflamed, it's a bit infected. Zak, I would advise maybe a tetracycline, terramycin, Hytet, any of the products there, just to prevent any secondary infection. Apply that according to body mass, of course, and then we can use anything from a copper sulfate, anything to dry out those hooves, to make sure that we can dry it out. We can even use a spray. Let's say it is an abscess, Zak. I always like to drain that abscess, wash it with a sterile water solution, a salt water solution, or any disinfectant that you, of course, get at our depots, and then you can just spray it with any of the sprays that we have now. These sprays, of course, also have insecticides in them, something like your Futa spray. Your terramycin spray, for instance, is an antibiotic spray, and it doesn't have an insecticide in. So a wide range of products there to cover any problems that you might find in your farming setup. So definitely something you can look into right there. Make sure the hooves of your small ruminants are nice and short, it's not affecting them, and make sure that they can carry that weight and they can carry it proud.
So guys, I think that's it for tonight, but very important, all these things that we talked about is available at all our Alzu one-stop shops. Now we've got about 20 of them. Not about, we definitely have 20 of them right across Mpumalanga, Gauteng, and of course Limpopo. And wonderful news, we're upgrading our Modimolle branch. So guys, I'll be back there, of course, not tomorrow, the day after. So if you've got questions, come in, feel free to ask. And of course, Albert and the team, always there, the technical advisors, to come and help you, give you advice, and make sure you're on the right track for good production.
Yes, guys, I am proud to say that I'm the technical advisor for Modimolle. So anybody in the Modimolle area, please do yourself a favor, go to the Alzu Modimolle branch. We are on that Tabazimbi Road, right on the corner. You can't miss us. It's an absolute wonderful experience there. Go and have a look. If you need anything, get there. And if you need any information, my contact card is, of course, always available there. Just ask for the ladies, and of course the team there is also well experienced, and they can help you with every step of the way. Now guys, exciting news as well. We've got a few things coming up next week in Trichard. People of Secunda, any in that area, Betal, please guys, we are having a lovely farmers Large Animal Ruminants Day. We're inviting all the farmers. We're going to have Solo there. We're going to have AfriVet over there. Food Doctor will be there, of course, and I'm going to be there as well. We're going to have an absolute lovely day outside, not indoors at all. Of course, COVID protocols and everything will apply. But please, guys, if you are in that area, please come chat to us. We've got a lot of information to share. There will be specialists, guys, that know their products, that can broaden your insights on any of the products right there. And of course, it's going to be a wonderful day. So please, we invite you guys to come over there. And I think there's also going to be an information day in Middelburg, if I'm not mistaken, over there, Zak. And of course, this coming Thursday, I'm going to be in Ermelo. We've got a big information day over there. So the people of Ermelo, please, we are looking forward. RSVP at the Ermelo branch if you can, and come and share the information. A lot of information to gain over there. We can always keep improving, and of course, looking forward for that.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. Always get in touch with us anyway through Facebook or through a call. But that's it for tonight, and tune in next Tuesday.
Thank you guys for watching. Just to answer the question there, Jason, we are in Middelburg around the beautiful Millies. We are so grateful for the lovely rain. And thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for the questions, and have a great night and a great evening.
Good evening.